In today's video, I'll be showing you how and why I train out of my backpack, the good and bad of year-round outdoor training, from crazy naked city guys flashing me during my morning workouts, to rainy, cold sessions that are not always fun, but also why I'd never change this style of training even for the fanciest gym in the whole wide world. Check it out. Now, although my backpack item list changes every now and then, depending on my training goals, here are 13 essential items I always have when I train outdoors. Number 1 are gymnastic rings. I never leave my home without these, and honestly, if you're more of a beginner, you don't need a lot more than this to get started. If you're wondering what are my main preferences when it comes to choosing a decent set of rings, number 1, you want to make sure that they are made out of wood, which besides being more pleasing aesthetically, it is also less slippery when it's raining or when you're sweating in the summer. And number 2, in terms of size, I prefer the thicker 1.25 inch rings over the classic Olympic style ones. These are, I think, 1.1, which, although a small difference, it does make a difference since these feel a lot better in your hands, more solid, and you feel more connected basically to them, especially when it comes to pulling exercises. Item number 2 are push-up grips. These are great for all kinds of reasons. For starters, they allow you to go deeper when you are doing push-ups, especially when done on a ledge, so your face doesn't stop at the ground. This helps you make the exercise more challenging, but also get a greater stretch of the pecs and therefore target the chest more effectively. Plus, if it's wet outside or not that clean, which is pretty often the case in urban environments, and if you don't want dog piss smell on your hands, they are very practical for that exact reason. The ones I like for training outdoors are the basic perfect push-up grips. I've been using this brand for over a decade now. They've never sent me a pair, I'm not affiliated in any way, but they are light, and compared to some of those classic push-up grips like the Nike ones, I think they are a lot more stable due to the wider base, which makes them safe, especially if the surface you're training on is slippery or for exercises like handstand push-ups. By the way, if you would like to work with us one-on-one to put together a proper diet and workout plan to build muscle, lose fat, gain quality weight, whatever your goal might be, and overall to improve your life quality, then you can find an application below, fill it in, and book a free consultation call with my beautiful face. We can talk about your goals, figure out exactly how to get you there, and see if we're a good fit. Once again, application in the top pinned comment below. Especially when you train in a big urban environment, gloves are another must. Besides the questionable grime-covered surfaces that you often come across, let's say, you train at an outdoor pull-up bar or any other metallic structure, these can be often slippery due to humidity, or other times even sharp, and especially if there's rust involved in this, you don't wanna get cut. Therefore, gloves allow you to train safer and cleaner, but also help you target the muscles you wanna target rather than being limited by grip strength. Personally, I like to use very basic construction work gloves. I can link some of these below if you want. These typically cost less than $4 or €3.50. You can throw them in the washing machine, plus you don't care if you have to replace them. Next, we have bands. I always like to have a light and a heavy big loop band. You can use these for a targeted warm-up set, as I like to do with pull-ups, or easier progressions if you're a beginner, but you can also train with them by doing finisher exercises like tricep extensions and whatnot. Now, I've tried a few of these the last year, but I wasn't completely happy with them until I tried the basic Swissy grips, which are pretty awesome. These have become pretty popular lately, and the reason I like them is because the grip is solid, they are light, so easy, once again, to carry in your backpack, easy to set up, and a great tool to have if the only pull-up bar you have access to is a straight one, since neutral grip pull-ups are a lot more shoulder and elbow friendly. Number 7 is a weighted belt, which won't be practical for most of you, I guess, but the reason I have this is because at one of the calisthenic parks that I train, you have these big cement blocks that I can hang from my belt. This allows me to do some seriously heavy weighted calisthenics, which have helped me a lot with taking my strength to the next level this year. But don't worry, there's another solution that I'll be covering next if you want to do weighted calisthenics outdoors. Item number 8 are weighted plates, which you can easily fit in your backpack. I always have a couple of these in mine for 2 reasons. Number 1, they turn your walk to the outdoor location that you'll be training at into a rock session, which I've covered in previous videos. This way you can also warm up more effectively while getting to your workout spot, but also train your postural muscles, work on some extra conditioning, and burn a few extra calories. Number 2 is it allows you to load bodyweight exercises that don't challenge you as much anymore, allowing you to continue to progressively overload your training, building this way more muscle and strength without having to do a gazillion reps. Okay, this one probably looks a bit weird and you might wonder what the hell else is in that backpack, but I find it pretty handy on a lot of occasions. For starters, it is super light and it doesn't take that much space in your backpack. And the reason I carry this is because, oftentimes you'll be limited in terms of exercise setup options, and by using this stool, you can create a little bit of a decline for your rows, making them more challenging and targeting different muscle groups like your upper traps and rear deltoids more. Or you can use it to target your chest more, make your push-ups more challenging, as mentioned previously. Basically, I very often find interesting ways to use this to make my workouts more challenging. And lastly, if it's really wet outside, you can put your backpack on it if you don't want it to get filthy. Or if there's no surface to sit on, you can sit on it while logging down your workout. Number 10, trust me, there is nothing more soothing than a dry, clean change of socks when your feet, well, in my case, foot, gets wet during an outdoor workout. Even though I wear waterproof shoes, because these are always exposed from the top, you'll still get some humidity in your feet. And therefore, a quick sock change mid-workout can make a huge difference, not only in keeping you comfortable, but also motivated to keep going. Number 11 is a basic raincoat. This is a must, trust me, even if you don't end up using it a lot. When you do need it, you'll be happy you have it. And, after all, it doesn't take a lot of space or weigh that much anyway. Number 12 is a notebook. This is basically my workout log, which, if you follow this project, is a must. If you want to see changes in your body and strength over time, we always have our online trainees keep detailed notes of their workouts. This is a prerequisite, but it also serves me for noting down ideas and thoughts, since my morning training always inspires me with all kinds of different ideas that come in handy, either we're talking about personal issues or work. Number 13, the backpack itself, of course. So this is a Barton, I don't know the exact bottle, I can type it on the screen if you want. And it was a birthday from my wife, I think 4 or 5 years ago. For starters, although in general, I'm not a big fan of clothing, shoes and stuff like that, I do love backpacks. Seriously, I might have an issue. I always have a lot more of these than I need. But due to the overall combination of being functional, strong and durable, but also good looking, this is my favorite workout backpack. I've carried a shit ton of weight with it. I've been very aggressive and abusive with the zippers because I'm not the most patient person in the world. It's been through all kinds of different extreme conditions and it's still in one piece. So, other than this buckle over here, which I once stepped on and broke and I still regret that day. But yeah, it is still working. So the strap makes a big difference since it helps you keep your backpack steady, especially if you want to add a lot of weight and the backpack starts sliding on the right and left. Or if you're doing something like an inverted row, it might start sliding towards your face, which is not good if there's weight in it. And lastly, keep in mind that if you want something more low budget and you don't care about style that much, a decent military backpack then is probably the way to go for you. A few years ago, I moved from my tiny, peaceful little town with my then girlfriend and now wife and mother of my twin daughters to Thessaloniki, a big city, well, at least by Greek standards. This is also when I switched from coaching people face-to-face at my local personal training studio to coaching people entirely online. But pretty soon, I found out that working entirely from home, although cool in a lot of ways, also has a lot of its own traps. Obviously, I found myself sitting a lot more, and although I used to train outdoors in the past because workload got quite heavy pretty suddenly, plus I hadn't explored yet what were my outdoor workout location options, in the beginning I trained mostly at home. But the more time I spent at home, the more I noticed my mental health taking a nosedive. I found myself being more reactive some days, pretty often feeling quite down and, may I say, borderline depressed on some occasions, having low energy, and more often than not, struggling to wind down at night. Like a proud lion taken out of its natural habitat and put into a cage, I feel trapped. Okay, that was a little bit dramatic, but I did indeed start to feel a bit caged. That was when I knew that I had to get back to outdoor training once again. Even though I wasn't anymore surrounded by the pine-covered hills of my beautiful hometown, and I had to often compromise with the urban smell of garbage and air pollution that often felt as if it was baked in all the cement around me, radiating out of it, especially during those sticky, warm summer days. Still, I knew that if I woke up early, when the sun was still barely peeking over the buildings, I could tap into the morning silence of the sleeping city, get outside in a more open horizon, change my scenery, and charge my body and mind with a morning outdoor workout. So I started exploring my outdoor workout locations more and more and committed every day to either work out entirely outdoors or, worst case scenario, get outside for a morning walk, no matter the weather, and complete the rest of my strength training right after at home. Now, if you've made it this far, you're probably still wondering about the naked guy that I mentioned once or twice during this video.
So there's actually a guy that trains here naked pretty often. I do have a photo of him on my phone that I like to share with my friends. Maybe I'll add that for fun with blurred out.
So the truth is that training outdoors in a big city early in the morning tends to attract all kinds of characters and weirdos, me included, as my wife likes to remind me. But honestly, I like to think of it as part of the adventure, the uncertain, slightly wild side of urban morning calisthenics. And although you never quite know who you're going to come across, one thing is for sure. You can always get a pretty badass workout. Keep on training. That was all for today. Once again, if you're interested in working with us one-on-one, if you want a workout plan you can do almost anywhere from the comfort of your own apartment or your backyard, or even combine outdoor and indoor training, and you also want to dial in your nutrition and finally transform your body, have more energy, feel amazing in your skin, you can fill in the form below, book a free consultation call with me, and see if this is a good fit for both of us.